All right, welcome to the hip spin up. This is a great 5 to 6 minute mobility sequence just for warming up in the mornings. Really feels good after a travel day as well. So we're gonna start off in a nice wide stance and just sink into that lateral squat. What I want you to do is keep that outside foot as flat as you can. Opposite leg as straight as an arrow. We're just gonna sink in as deep as you can there. Try to take a nice deep breath. If you need a little support there, you can rest the hands on the knees. On these next few, you can start to let that opposite foot pop up and then let the heel on this forward leg lift. And you're just gonna sink into that to your comfort. And we'll take that side to side. So you'll start to get a little more of a stretch through the foot, the ankle. Gonna go 2 more aside here. If you need full hands on the floor to support, that's a great option. You're just gonna work through as far as you're able to your body's comfort. Finish that last one. We're gonna pivot here to the side, plant the hands on the floor, and if you need a little bit of assist, you can have your hand tented up here and that opposite hand up on the foot. I'm just gonna sink the hips in, get long in the spine, squeeze that quad, squeeze that glute on that back leg, and just work through a few reps in and out. Sink down, deep breath. Let's go 2 more times there. A little bit easier would be sinking that knee to the floor. Again, just finding what your body is comfortable with, letting breath be your guide. You can always access that full breath. So from there, let's go ahead and plant those hands down. If you're able to, sink that elbow down. Maybe that inside elbow is the harder portion to get, and meet your body where it's at. Maybe we're just sinking in a little ways. Walk those hands over to the side. Take a nice deep breath there. You can keep that outside hand planted. Rotate, plant that hand on the thigh. And you can even sink that hip down toward the floor. So we're kind of hanging out on that right hand, lengthening the side. Breathe into it. Lastly, while we're here, come back to the center. Let's just work through that hamstring rocker. So sink back and forth. If you need a little bit more, you can even start to tuck that chin down toward the chest as you sink in here. And that'll feel like a nice stretch to the lower back even, all the way down to the hamstring and calf. Let's get 1 more there. And your movement may be small, right? It doesn't take much to feel that stretch. Let's go ahead and pivot out of that over to the other side. So we do the same thing here. Start with that hand on the shoe, opposite hand tented. Sink the hips, squeeze that quad, squeeze your glute as you lower. Really great way to lengthen those hip flexors, which tend to get shortened when we're on a flight or a long car ride, or just even in the office for a while, right? You can plant that knee down if you need a little bit less. Let's go ahead and try to drop those elbows. Outside elbow will be easier, inside elbow is a little harder. The things I'm thinking of here is this foot. Try not to lose my foot to the side. Keep that full foot in contact with the floor. Walk those hands out away from the leg. So you can drop that inside elbow again. Keep that hand out wide now. Rotate toward the thigh and just sink in as much as you can. Take that deep breath. Feel that length through the side. And then lastly, let's bring it to that hamstring rocker. Sink back. A couple ways to modify that is toes pointed, makes it a little easier. And then toes pulled in toward your shin, makes it a little more intense. And again, you can also add that tuck of the chin toward the chest. 2 more there. Awesome. Let's go ahead and pivot back, heel toe into that squat. Now I just want you to sink into that as low as you're able to, making sure that the feet stay engaged. We're not collapsing in. If it's a little higher, that's okay. If you gotta let the heels come up, that's also okay. And all we're gonna do is do a reach. So you're kind of leaning over one knee, reach as far as you can, getting real deep into that hip flexion. Try to breathe. Let the heel pop up if you need to. Let's get one more on each side. And then lastly, rotating back, get that reach as far as you can. You can have that palm facing down to start. Again, your breath is your guide. If you gotta have those heels popped up, that's also okay. And then let's try palm facing open. Reach back as far as you can. Hit each side. If you're able to, keep those feet on the ground. All right, pop on up. And you should be feeling pretty good for the day.